Here's the thing about strength training nobody really warned you about. You're probably going to get hungrier. So when you're building muscles, your body has to work harder even when you're resting. Muscle is kind of like that high maintenance friend that always needs energy and also attention. Fat, not so much. That's why the more muscle you build, the more fuel your body asks for. And it's not just while you're lifting, your body is repairing, it's recovering, it's trying to get stronger, even after the workout. So that repair process is what spikes your appetite. I noticed it big time when I started upping my training. I'd finish a workout and suddenly feel like I could eat everything in sight. At first, I thought I was doing something wrong, like maybe I was overdoing it. But really, the hunger was just my body telling me, hey, you're getting stronger. Now feed me so I can keep building. I think the difference between working out now and how I worked out before I wasn't really informed of your protein intake and how food is really fuel for your workouts. And I didn't really understand why I felt hungrier after lifting for about 3 months consistently, especially during my squat, where when I would squat to feel stronger and be stronger. I notice now I'm able to clear a plate. I'll eat me a whole steak instead of a half, where before I didn't find myself to be too hungry. My body was recovering, repairing, and getting stronger even outside of the gym. For a long time, I used to see hunger as a problem. If I get really hungry after workouts, I try to fight it off or restrict what I ate. I felt this way a lot while working. I worked 10-hour shifts, right? So I would work out in the morning and then work my 10-hour shift after my workout. That's where I would feel the most hungriest. Hungry between 11, I would say 10 to 11:30, and I felt like I needed to have two breakfasts. But now I've kind of optimized it. I like to eat miso soup around 11:30 as like my first breakfast meal rather than eating like eggs and steak or a full course breakfast meal twice before 1 o'clock. I found that miso soup is very satisfying. It's warm, it's hydrating, it also has low calories. So I find that it doesn't really weigh me down before my actual meal. There were times I felt like I was eating two full breakfast meals. I was hungry after training, and instead of feeling energized, I end up feeling overly full, like I overdid it, right? That's when I started adding lighter options like miso soup or bone broth. It gave me something warm and satisfying, and it cut that craving. I didn't feel like I was overeating. That was a mindset shift for me, right? Realizing I don't always need more food. I just need something that complements what my body's asking for. And the heat can make you feel more satisfied, right? Also, I feel like it's really good for my tummy. It's like my tummy screams for it before 11:30 in the morning. Also, it's packed with protein and probiotics. A lot of the packs have like seaweed and minerals that help support energy and thyroid health. I find that it also regulates my appetite. And sometimes, it creates bigger options, more options where you can pair it with maybe some rice in the morning. Sometimes I'll even like scoop in some leftover rice from last night into my miso soup if I want it to just be a little bit more filling. Instead of restricting, I've added in miso soup that gives me that longer appetite. But here's the thing, restricting usually just backfires. You end up with crazy eating habits, craving something that leads to binging or feeling guilty about what you ate. Now I look at hunger differently. It's not an enemy to me anymore. It's feedback. It's my body saying I'm working hard, I'm adapting, I'm getting stronger. One, what can I give my body right now that's going to help me recover? For me, a lot of the times I have issues with my tummy in the morning. So just doing some more research on miso soup, I found that it's really gut healthy. It makes me feel satisfied, and it has all those great benefits I listed, right? So that became a good option. Also, what can help fuel me? Fruit before breakfast or lunch is another good option. I feel like it's refreshing, it's lightweight, um, it's sweet enough and refreshing enough that I don't have the type of cravings I had before. I actually opt more for fruits and vegetables than what I would before when it came to like junk food and fast made meals or breakfast like toaster strudels and stuff like that. I used to love toaster strudels. And you want to think about what's going to help me stay on track. I know that can be a kind of a difficult part, but I kind of use it as like a game for myself. I kind of like to think about what's going to help me stay on track but also satisfy me at the same time. That little switch from feeling guilty when fueling made training so much easier to stick to the plan. When it comes to managing that hunger, my focus always is on complementary eating and making sure my meals actually work with my training, not against it. With all that hard work we're doing in the gym, I found that earlier stages of like being on a weight loss journey, I feel like I don't really have much time to count my calories every meal, right? And when I do that, sometimes I feel like I find myself off track. I start not to care anymore. But now I think about complementary eating and making sure I'm getting in all my food groups. For me, my major food groups in every meal are protein, fats, and carbs. You want some carbs for energy. I'm not scared of carbs. I feel like carbs help me with a lot of energy throughout the day. I want to make sure I get my protein in because I want to get stronger and I want my body to repair faster. So I'm making sure I'm getting adequate amounts of protein. And with protein, you want to make sure you're getting in your fats as well, your healthy fats, because they help nourish and absorb that protein, right? You want your amino acids, right? So you want that plate to really complement itself. When I look at my dinner plate or my breakfast plate, I want to make sure I have some color on there. I want to make sure I have some greens. I want to make sure I have some protein, some meats. I want to make sure I have some fat in there, avocado, stuff like that. So the biggest tip I would give is don't be scared to eat more if your body is asking for it, not in a way of like eating two full breakfast meals like I did. The key is to give it the right amount of fuel, foods that actually support your strength, recovery, and goals. So foods like protein to fill you up longer, adding miso soups and bone broth to help optimize that hunger. Instead of those quick fixes and little snacks that leave you hungrier later, right? I'll see you in my next video. Make sure you subscribe.
As I get a little older, I realize life is perspective, and my perspective may differ from yours. I want to say thank you to everyone that's been down with me. All my fans, all my beautiful fans.